Donald Trump's staffers have been turning on him, and now one is accusing him of wanting to execute people inside his own staff. So Alyssa Farah Griffin said, quote, Trump straight up said a staffer who leaked the story should be executed. That's his own staffer. She was the White House communications director. She also said there were others where we talked about executing people. So how many people did they want to execute? Well, let's find out the whole story, Ben.
Last Friday, former Trump White House official and current co-host of The View, Alyssa Farah Griffin, revealed that Trump and his lackeys floated the idea of executing Americans during his time as president. Americans who worked for him, no less. Let's hear what she had to say.
How do you explain that there are people that are very smart, Nikki Haley and Bill Barr are very smart people, that watched the first Trump term on the inside, have described it as very dangerous, but are still saying, well, we might vote for him in 2024?
It's power. I think it's power is just one of the most enticing things that we have in society. I mean, Caitlin Collins, to her credit, CNN interviewed Bill Barr and asked about an anecdote that I had shared about a meeting he and I were both in the Oval Office, where Trump straight up said a staffer who leaked a story should be executed. And Bill Barr kind of danced, said, like, I don't recall that specific instance, but there were others where he talked about executing people. And I'm like, how you rationalize that is a person fit in sound judgment to be president of the United States? But I think it's perpetual. They're reading the tea leaves. They know there's a very real chance he's going to be president again, and there's not a lot of glory or like victory in being right, but being on the wrong side of Trump.
In response to Farah's comments, Trump campaign spokesman Stephen Chung stated, as President Trump has said, the best revenge is the success and prosperity of all Americans. I suppose he means except those he wants murdered at his own decision. But as Griffin mentioned, Bill Barr also stated that Trump would talk about executing people. Let's hear it from the very confusing and hypocritical Bill Barr's mouth himself.
You were present at a moment when Trump suggested executing the person who leaked information that he went to the White House bunker when those George Floyd protests were happening outside the White House. Do you remember that?
I remember him being very mad about that. I actually don't remember him saying executing, but I wouldn't dispute it. I mean, it doesn't sound. The president would lose his temper and say things like that. I doubt he would have actually carried it out. I don't.
But he would say that on other occasions. You said
the president. The president had a. I think people sometimes took him too literally, and he would say things like, similar to that in occasions to blow off steam, but I wouldn't take him literally every time he did it.
I wouldn't take him literally every time he did it. Sometimes I would take the president of the United States literally. Sometimes I would think he was using poetic language to express deep-seated feelings. He would just do it to blow off steam. Some people get a massage or perhaps take a nap, but Donald Trump likes to rant about executing people who work for him just to kind of let loose. What a cool guy.
Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team.
Ben, I thought the same thing. I wouldn't take him literally every time. Wait, that implies that you did take him literally sometimes. Who did you guys execute? Okay, but guys, look, seriously, look at how flippant they are about what a monster Donald Trump is. He would regularly ask them to execute people, and luckily they didn't. But it was like a discussion, because did you notice the other thing Bill Barr said? You can rewind the tape and watch it. He said, I would doubt that he would do that. He didn't say, oh, that's hyperbole. Of course he's not gonna do that. That's ridiculous, right? He's just being angry, and it's like cursing. Like if you said that, I'd say, oh, okay, well, maybe sometime when you got angry, you said something and it happened once or twice, it's not a real thing. No, it's obvious from both of them that worked very, very closely with him that he would say that stuff all the time. And they had doubt in their mind whether he meant it literally. So we're thinking about voting for a guy who every once in a while would wonder if he should murder his own staffers.
Well, just to blow off steam from the felonies and the sexual assaults, Cenk.
Well, that's okay, good, fair point on the other hand. But guys, remember, this is not theoretical, because a giant crowd of people started chanting hang Mike Pence on January 6th. They then told the president, your fans are trying to murder your own vice president. And according to people that were in the room, Mark Meadows, his chief of staff, came back and said, I told him that, and he said he didn't mind.
And on the record, he took several more hours, then came out and said, all right, maybe go home, and I love you guys so much.
I mean, you heard that your chief of staff told you they're looking to murder your vice president. And you told him, I love you guys. And all of his former staffers are like, I mean, yeah, we did talk about executing people all the time, but we generally doubted that he meant it. I mean, he probably doesn't mean it next time around, but it's gonna be new people, so maybe they'll do it.
And also, in fairness, the people that were saying hang Mike Pence, that was just figurative speech. It's not like they had an actual gallows outside of the Capitol building to hang somebody with.
And a noose.
I'm sorry, this just in.
Of course. They did. And so, look guys, it's both funny because it's so over the top, but not at all funny because his dictatorial tendencies are shown over and over again. The people that work closest with him constantly come out and go, lunatic, talks about killing people all the time. Remember the other story? And these are not from the libs. These are not from the mainstream media. These are really right-wing people. Like Bill Barr is the most, he's such a monster that after saying all that, he turned around and said he was gonna vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Right, so these are massive right-wingers. And they say, oh yeah, he in another meeting, he's like, can we start shooting the immigrants? Maybe we shoot them in the leg.
Just shoot them in the leg, that's it.
Maybe they die, maybe they don't die. We find out.
Let them bleed out in the streets, they're Americans. When he goes full dictator too, just imagine the merch will be next level as well because there'll be no restraint. He's already selling his own Bible, but the man notoriously loves fast food, loves French fries. I'm picturing dictator tots, that's gonna be an item they're selling. They're just gonna go full dictator merch, funny hats, pins you could wear on your armbands, who knows?
You know what, Don Guevara with a little beret?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so look guys.
Napoleon bone spurs, there's a lot of options.
Okay, of course, when things were actually on the line and Donald Trump could have taken action in Vietnam, to Ben's point, he pretended to have bone spurs in his foot. And his daddy got a doctor to write a note for him. And when they asked him, which foot did you have the bone spurs in? He said, could have been both. Yeah, in other words, you didn't have bone spurs. You're full of crap, you're a little coward. By the way, you know who he wanted to execute? The person who revealed that he hid in the bunker during the George Floyd protests. Because he's a coward. And the idea of people finding that out is actually the thing that he fears most. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.